I guess, can you just tell me why you're running? What's your motivation?
So I have been interested in politics for a long time. I went to my first big rally when I was like 12 years old. And ever since then, it's kind of been my passion. Again, usually not one that younger kids follow, but I loved it for some reason. And then just working with legislators and other politicians the last few years on campaigns, I started becoming cognizant of a lot more issues.
Are you inspired by some of those people who have done this before you, or was it just one of those things where you're like, I want to make changes and I'm of age and I can do this, right?
I'm definitely inspired by people who came before me because it helps me realize like, oh, I can do that. But I think we're so used to what I refer to as a gerontocracy, where it's a lot of older people controlling government. And at one point, when you're my age, or probably in the 20s and 30s, even, it's like, okay, but they're making policies that are going to affect me. So it was a case of, I need to make changes for my generation.
You have this background where you've been helping with campaigns. You've been pretty active in politics since, how long?
So my first real job in politics was 2020, and I had just turned 16. So I got involved when I was 15. I think I actually started on my 16th birthday at the GOP office in 2020. And we had a ton of big races that year. Governor was up, the Senate seat was up, president, obviously, and then all of the other statewide and legislative seats. And so you had to really be, because it's a lot of door knocking, it's a lot of calling, and you have to know everyone's issues.
Just walk me through kind of your big bullet points and what you want to focus on.
So again, education, there's a lot of curriculum reform I think we need to work on. There's been some things while I'm sitting in the classroom that a teacher, their lessons, or just something they'll say or mention, I struggle with morally a little bit. An example I always use is I was in my English class last year, so junior year, and we were doing literary analysis on a Shakespeare play, which, it's Shakespeare. Whether you love him or hate him, he's a well-known figure and usually not a problem. And he presented us 8 different literary analysis terms, and he had us write in 2 specific ones. And the 2 he had us write in were feminist theory and communist theory. And to me, that's pretty scary because in order to pass my class, I had to think like a communist. So I was a little taken aback, but it seems like a lot of other students weren't. So it's small things like that, I think, in our education, we need to work that out because that's not acceptable in my mind. Other than education, human trafficking is a huge thing for me. It's not very well publicized, I would say, but it's increasing year after year in Montana. As drug trafficking increases up to Montana, you're seeing human trafficking come with that. And our Attorney General has done a fantastic job in his 2 years. He's hired new human trafficking officers. He's rerouted funds towards that. But there's still so much work to be done. And it's hard because we are a hub. We have reservations where law enforcement can't do a lot surrounding this issue. We have a major interstate crossing through Billings. So we have a lot of issues that bring it here. And we don't have enough resources dedicated towards that yet. And then kind of on top of human trafficking, public safety in general, I think we all know Billings especially is increasing massively with our crime rate. And we've passed 2 public safety mill levies in the last few years. We're still not seeing a dip. I'm hoping that we will when this last public safety mill levy starts to pay out because it hasn't yet. But there's a lot of investment that needs to be routed towards public safety, and I think the main thing is we don't have enough prison space or jail space. And to me, I think we need to invest in that immediately.